Hey guys, this is my 2002 f250. I had an issue with the horn staying on, and now what happens is it blows the horn fuse in the dash here. When I put a new one, it immediately blows. And I thought maybe the horn was the problem, but before I take that apart, I'm gonna start checking this to check for continuity to see if it's the switch, because from what I see online, this happens more commonly, and then it can either melt the horn or cause another issue. The symptoms I was having are obviously no horn, and then the cruise doesn't work. They do light up and my blinkers work, so I don't think it's the clock spring, but I think the fuse for the horn also has to do with the cruise control. So I'm hoping that fixes both problems. The actual horn for the truck is down in under the fender, and here I had gotten to it before, but it's easier to check the horn versus taking this off. We do have to take the airbag connection off, so you need to disconnect all the battery terminals and let it set. Make sure that there's no charge left anywhere for a few minutes. There are tabs on the back of the steering wheel here, like this. I just put a screwdriver in and you pop them off. There's one on this side and one on the other side. There are two 8mm bolts, one on each hole that you got to take out. And with those out, the steering wheel will pop out. It's hard with one hand, I don't want to drop it, but it just slides right out. I disconnected the red switch, which is the horn sensor here in the front, or the switch, and then this yellow one is the airbag. If you want to check to make sure before you take the airbag apart, you can take a multimeter and do what I'm about to show you. Set it to the setting for continuity, which means that it'd be like having a switch on, so it beeps when you have the connection. And there are two tabs inside of the switch that go to the button. So basically the button just connects these two wires. As you can see, I have them balancing. They're both touching the connectors, they're not touching each other, and there's continuity. And I'm not pressing the button. I can hold it with two hands more gently and it won't beep. So the problem now is the switch here. So now that I know it's the switch, I'm going to take this apart. Most likely what happened is this switch melted something in the horn, so that way when this fuse is put in, this is already on, it sends electricity to the horn and it blows the fuse. Here is the switch. I got this from Amazon. I think it was about $32, and I know that in 01 or 02 they changed this plug, and I believe this is the correct one. So just make sure. If you're not sure, it doesn't hurt to order both and then maybe return the one that is incorrect. My tab looked like this from behind the steering wheel, and this was my plug, so I would just, it was in this orientation, pinch up and pull out. It slid out really easily, so if you're struggling with it, just make sure you're not pulling it wrong. For future reference too, whenever you're working on a truck or any vehicle, I believe all airbag wires are marked with this yellow cable. So if you're ever doing anything under the dash, or in this case with the steering wheel, this lets you know that this is the airbag, and then this obviously would not be the airbag. Okay, so to take this cover off, now each side has these tabs that are part of the plastic, and you just squeeze them and pop them off, but first you need to take off these two Torx screws. I'm using a T20. It's too small, but I think it should be okay. I'm hoping it doesn't strip it out. If it feels like it, I'll go get a bigger one. Yeah, these are pretty loose, so it is coming out fine. Let's try this one. Yeah. Okay, so now that it's off, you can see here it is. It matches the shape, the same. It's got the little tab. Now, some people say that these plastic things with the heat, the steering, this can get warped and it will push the button itself. So instead of just cutting that up and guessing, I'm going to, now that there's nothing touching it, retest the continuity. And if it beeps, then I know the switch is bad and it's not that it's warping. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. Yeah. So it is the switch and not this. So I'm gonna not cut this up since I don't have to. If I have to, even with the new one, I will, but I'd rather just redo it versus messing it up. All right, so here it is. It's taken form of the wheel, so I'm gonna have to bend the other one to fit. And it's also noticeable that the bottom part does not unscrew, so you kind of just have to gently flex it without cracking it. And this tab just slides right off this metal piece. Whenever I work on these airbags, which isn't very often, I always lean back, so if it blows up, it's not going to punch me in the face. I don't know, it just makes me nervous. Probably fine though. Okay, so now to ensure again that this is the problem, is I've connected it for continuity. It's not beeping, and I'm gonna press it. Yep. So now the horn is working as it should, and if it doesn't fix the horn blowing on the truck, then that means the horns are melted and that's what's blowing the fuse. But either way, this was part of the problem. It's also good to do that just in case the one that they sent you from Amazon or wherever aftermarket or OEM is not broken or malfunctioning from the factory and you put a broken one in your truck. Okay, so I'm just going to repeat the opposite of what I did to take it off. I'm going to plug this in, and then since this one's on the top, I'll plug this one in last, set the horn back in, and then put the bolts in. I'm probably going to use both hands because I don't want to drop it, but it's pretty straightforward. Just do the exact opposite of what we did to take it off. So you can see the two, I think this is where the 8mm go through. Again, the battery should still be disconnected, and it doesn't hurt to put the key in to make sure that there is not going to be any electricity or anything that sends into the airbag that might make it go off. When I'm putting these bolts back in, I didn't have my steering wheel straight, so this top one kind of falls out easier. So to keep it from falling, unless you have a magnetized one, is you can stick a piece of paper into the socket like this and then shove the bolt through it. If I can do this. And that is just enough to make it where it's not going to fall out. So, and then obviously the paper is easy to retrieve versus the bolt falling through. Okay, horn is back in, or the cover's back in. The screws are on. We can pop these tabs back on. Don't forget. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reconnect the batteries, and then I'm going to find the fuse and see if the horn still blows the fuse. Okay, so it's this is a 2002 model. They might all be different, but this space right here between the 10 and the 20 is a 15 amp fuse that is for the horn, and then I believe also the cruise control. So I'm gonna put a new one in and see if it blows. Okay, here it goes. Yep, so the horn has a problem too, but at least the button works. And the fuse didn't blow until I pressed the button, and I don't know if you could hear it in the video, but I kind of heard the horn start to go. So this is fixed. This was worth doing. And now to fix this problem, I think I just need a new horn, and then it should be good. Okay, to make sure that it wasn't another issue, and I'm just assuming, I took the fender thing off here, and I reached up, and the horn is right in there. And I pull, the plug comes off, so I unplugged it. I stuck the voltmeter in here and I set it to show the voltage. So from the steering wheel, so it's hard to see on the camera, but if I press the horn, it should show 12 volts, which it does. So I know, or I'm hoping that it's just the horn itself and not anything to do with the clock spring. I would imagine that if it were anything in the clock spring, that the fuse would still be blowing. So now I'm gonna get a new horn. Instead of buying a factory horn, I replaced it with an air horn solenoid, but it is working now, so hopefully this helped you guys out. All I did was disconnect the horn here and then plugged the original plug into wires that ran down to a horn that I have under there. But you could have just as easily just bought a new factory horn and it would fix the problem just the same. Keep making videos as I fix the truck and have to do repairs. So if you like this content, like the video and subscribe for more.